Well, we're very lucky on this Valentine's week to welcome Ciara Geraghty to Shearer's Bookshop to talk about her new novel, Lifesaving for Beginners. Welcome.
Thank you very much. It's lovely to be here.
Now, Ciara, you have a romantic story associated with this part of the world. Do you mind sharing it with us?
Not at all. Yes, it's true. 18 years ago, I lived here in Paddington with my then boyfriend, now husband, Franco. And on my birthday, actually in May in 1994, I asked him to marry me. I had a heat stroke and that, and he said yes. So we got married in Watson's Bay in Sydney in Our Lady Star of the Sea Church, and we sailed around Sydney Harbour for the reception, and it was very romantic and very lovely. And my parents came out, my sister came out, my Auntie Mary came out, because everybody has an Auntie Mary.
That's right.
And Frank's parents came as well, so it was gorgeous. So this has been a real trip down memory lane for us, and we've been back to all the old places, and everything's pretty much as we remember it, apart from us. 18 years later, we look a bit different, but yeah, it's been fantastic to come back. It's a beautiful part of the world, and it has a very special place in our hearts here.
Oh, it's wonderful. So tell us a little about your new book.
Yeah, well, it's called Lifesaving for Beginners, and it's one of my favourite books actually. I've written 4 so far, so it definitely is one of my favourite ones. And I think it's because I tell it in 2 voices, and one of the voices is Milo McIntyre, who is a 9-year-old boy who lives in Brighton, and writing him was one of the most pleasurable things I have done in my writing career. My son was 9 at the time when I wrote it, so I sort of had access to a 9-year-old, which is always very handy for writers. Write what you know, they say, so I knew 9-year-old boys, and the voice just came very naturally and very easily, more easy for me than originally. I was supposed to tell the story in Faith's point of view, who is Milo's big sister, who ends up minding him after Milo's mother is killed in a car accident. But she was a 24-year-old woman, and it's been a long time since I was a 24-year-old woman, so I don't know if the gap was too wide. I couldn't get her voice to sing the way it should, so I had been reading Emma Donoghue's Booker-winning book Room at the time, which is also a harrowing story told through the eyes of a 5-year-old boy. So I thought this might be a way into my story and to tell it through Milo's eyes, which I think works really well. I'm pleased anyway. I hope your readers are. So basically it's a story on, I'll tell you how I got my idea actually, because that will give you an idea of what the story is about. I was in Still Writers Festival, which is a festival that happens every year in Ireland in Kerry, and my friend was telling me about her spinster aunts who died within months of each other when they were old ladies, and her friend's dad, who was their only remaining sibling, was going through their paperwork and discovered that one of them had a baby when she was a late teen and had the baby adopted and never told a soul about it, and just kept this secret for her whole life. And it only came to light after her death when her brother found the birth certificate. So my book has a secret like that in it that involves the adoption of a baby. My character, Kat Berrigan, has a baby when she's 15 and adopts it out, never really thinks about it, never, just lives her life as if in fact that never happened, until one day there's a car accident. Kat is involved in the car accident, Milo's mum is involved in the car accident, Milo's mum dies, Kat walks away with barely a scratch, and this accident sets in motion a series of events that will have implications for Kat and will sort of force her to turn around and sort of face her demons, and all her chickens are coming home to roost, and she's not happy about it, but she's going to have to deal with it. So that's the kind of basic. That's a very long-winded answer, sorry about that.
No, it's a fabulous read. Well, whilst Lifesaving for Beginners is definitely a book which features matters of the heart, like your other books, it approaches love from a very different angle. Can you tell us a little about your approach to writing about relationships in this book and also in your others?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, relationships, I suppose, it's everything in the world and everything in life is about relationships. You know, your job, your personal life, your buying meat from your butcher. It is all about relationships, and that is where that's what I'm interested in. my novels are mostly character-driven, I would say, rather than plot-driven. I'm not very good about coming up with plots, but I love creating characters, and I love them having kind of quirky relationships, especially from the love perspective, because there's nothing more boring than, you know, the beautiful woman and the tall, dark, handsome man in the smartly cut suit and you know, meet and fall in love, you know, the cute meets, as they say. I'm not really interested in that. I much prefer all of my leading men are very quirky, eccentric looking. They don't fit into that, you know, contemporary notion of what makes a man handsome. But a lot of my readers say, I love your leading men, I want one, where can we find one? I don't know, I make them all up, unfortunately.
Kat Kavanagh, one of the main characters in your book, is actually a crime writer. So I'm wondering, really, do you have a secret desire to become a crime writer?
Definitely not, and I don't even read crime fiction because I'm scared of that. And I have a terribly vivid imagination as well. Yes. I read Stephen King as a teenager obsessively, and my favourite of his books is It, and I've had a thing about clowns ever since. You know, they're very scary things, clowns. And so no, I've never wanted to be a crime writer.
Oh, I don't know. She's a very convincing character.
Thank you.
Also about your writing process, I love the sequence where Kat turns in her pages to a publisher and then whisks herself off to a hotel room with jelly babies, champagne and Cuban cigars.
Yes, the Savoy Hotel in London, which is really nice.
Which sounds wonderful. Do you have any kind of routine yourself? Not just for when you turn in the pages, but also for when you write?
Yeah, no, I write in the morning. My children are in school in the morning, so I do the school run, then I come back. I've converted the attic in my house to a little writing room for myself, which is vital for me because I'm one of those writers that need, you know, the dark, quiet space to write. So I write from kind of 9:30 in the morning until 1:30. I go and collect my kids from school, and then I'm nanny for the afternoon. And then when I finish the book, my only routine is to kind of get down on my knees and thank God that hell is over. What fresh hell is this? So yeah, that's my routine.
Oh dear. One of the people you thank in your acknowledges is the late great Maeve Binchy.
Yeah.
Did you ever meet her?
I actually met her for the first time last year. She died last year, and I met her for the first time last year at one of our big booksellers in Dublin was celebrating their 125th birthday, and she was there, and I was there with my daughter, and we got she was in her wheelchair. She wasn't well. She had arthritis. And she posed for a photograph with me and my daughter, and I accidentally hit one of the buttons on her wheelchair and it started doing something, so oh god, it was really embarrassing. A bit of a moment. But I'm so delighted I got to meet her before she died, because she basically is her books. She's like the epitome of her books. She's warm, she's gracious, she's funny, so charming, and I have always been a huge fan of her fiction, and it was a very sad day for her, and she was a real institution in Ireland, and she lived in a place called Dalkey in Dublin, and she'd just go around the streets with her husband, and she was such an institution. We all adored her, but you know, she just blended into the landscape as well, you know, and she's very sadly missed.
Oh. Well, I'm sure those wonderful things you just said about Maeve will be saying about you for years, many, many years to come.
When I die.
No, even beforehand.
Don't wait till I'm dead.
Even beforehand. No, you've been very gracious and a very wonderful person to interview today. Thank you very much, Ciara.
Thanks for having me.
Enjoy your trip.